Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Katie and it's a witchy things to draw kind of video. If you're new here and you haven't seen any of these videos before, be sure to stay till the end of the video and I'll leave a link for all the others for you to catch up on. I take the Witchy Things to Draw prompt book and combine a couple of the prompts to create artwork, and you're very welcome to join me as I do this. The prompts we have to work with today are Spellbook and Spirit Board. And they already felt like a bit of a conundrum, but I'd already passed on a previous prompt double earlier in the book, so I thought I can't do it again for a while yet. So I just sketched out a few ideas. I started with a simple spellbook and then I just quickly mapped out a spirit board, or as I know them to be, a Ouija board. And then tried my best to figure out a scene or a scenario where the two could coexist. As this is a witchy things to draw, I guess it was okay to add a character in there that would be a witch, and I thought it would be pretty nice to have her sitting reading a spell book, which I guess this could be cheating, but also includes a section on spirits. Yes, I kind of copped out, but I like the idea I came up with. The medium I'm going to use for this are the artful inks that I had at the beginning of the year, because that delicious purple was calling to me and I hadn't used them for a while. So our witch is going to be robed in purple, and yeah, it just seemed to work out just right. I thought I'd have her cozying up with her spell and spirit book, and just to add a few touches here and there, just to try and bring that spirit board thing in, I used, what are those things that people use to move around the table? I can't think for the life of me, but one of them. I did a spirit board a lot of times actually as a teenager, and we just used to use an upturned glass. It was a homemade one that my friend had made. It was very colourful, it didn't look like your traditional one. And yeah, we used to play about on that because we just didn't know what it was. I'm not going to go into a massive amount of details of my experiences with that, but I haven't done one since, so there we have it. Now moving on from that, I thought I would give our witchy character some very nice tealy green hair, because why not? It just goes with the colour scheme that are with the artful inks, and they are there and I thought I would use them. I've avoided doing any of the line work on here just yet because I just wanted to make sure that acrylic ink was down first, because I guess they're semi-transparent, so any lines that I make on the paper, I'm going to have to go over them again anyway, and I thought I would have a break from doing that in this video. To contrast from the blockiness of the colours that I've already laid down, I just added some soft tones to our witchy character's face before continuing to block in some of the other areas. I find acrylic inks quite interesting to work with. I mean, you kind of use them like you would a watercolour, you can water them down or you can use them neat. And I find it weird because you never get a completely flat texture, I guess, or finish with it. Even if the whole area is still wet, it's still uneven, but it's not unpleasant, it's predictably uneven, I always think. And I like that. I think if I had done it in gouache, it might have looked a little bit too flat. And there's just something, I don't know, quite natural and organic with the formations of the paint where it's drying. Even when you've done a couple of layers of it, you've still just got a bit of that characteristic different levels of sheen. But those are just my thoughts on it. The paper I'm using is also a watercolour paper. I thought I'd best mention that. And I think it might have been one of the loose ones that I've had from a scroll box. I kind of have quite a lot of loose paper at the moment, which is why I've been making my own sketch pads just lately. I thought our witchy friend here could have a red bow going through her hat and the scrying device. Honestly, can't for the life of me remember what those things are called, so can you pop that down in the comments for me, because it's just gone with me. I also decided to give our witch character here a familiar, and of course it is usually a black cat, and this black cat is also eagerly looking inside this book. I wonder if the witch and this cat are going to do a spirit board later, and she's going to have her hand on one side of the whatever the device is, and the cat's going to have its paw on the other. In hindsight, actually, that probably would have made a good picture. I'll take a note of that and maybe revisit this one day. Now all of those colours are mostly blocked in, it's time to start adding a bit of line work, and I'm using a Posca pen for that. It just seems right to use an acrylic paint marker with acrylic inks. And because everywhere has been left white underneath, with the exception where I've perhaps not been as tidy as I wanted to be, it was a relatively easy process and quite enjoyable. I think if I'd have done the lines beforehand, I probably would have been quite frustrated having to do them all over again. And plus, using this pen, it ensures that the finish is the same all the way through, because why not? I thought I would add in some hair strands as well, just to give her a bit more texture, because I do like the blockiness of everything, but, well, it just needed a little bit of something else extra, didn't it? And you know me, I do enjoy drawing hair, so any excuse really. Now, I know it's quite a thick book on the exterior, but obviously it doesn't look like there's a huge amount of pages in there. But let's just pretend there is, hey? I think I would have been there for ages drawing all of those out. I thought as well, whilst I'd got the Posca markers out, it would be good to add a few highlights, and I do have a few shades and tones of purple, so adding a little bit of highlight to the rim on her hat worked out quite nice, just added a little bit of depth there. And also I used a white, I think it was one of the Pilot Pintors, and that was just to add a white outline around our character and a few stars. Oh, and we can't forget the cat's whiskers, but that's just a little bit later on. I actually really quite like how this has come out, and I don't know, it's quite quirky. It reminds me of something that I'd perhaps have on a card from like the 1990s. It just seems like that kind of thing, but I don't know, there's something nostalgic about it for me. Anyone else can relate to that? Anyway, after the signature and a rather satisfying masking tape pull, we are all done. I do hope you have enjoyed this episode of Witchy Things to Draw. I quite enjoyed getting back into this one. It's a shame really, actually, I haven't saved this for October. It would have been a great Halloween picture. I've left the playlist for Witchy Things to Draw right here, and I think you should click on it now. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you lovely lot soon. Bye!